So with the current situation that the Packers are in right now, being so far over the salary cap, some people have been asking about Mason Crosby and whether they think the Packers will potentially cut him just because of how I think they would save around $2.7 million. I don't necessarily think that is going to happen, but the Packers do have 2 other kickers on the roster now, and so that is a question some people are currently having. Brian Gutekunst actually talked with a few different Packers writers the other day after his, main press conference and sort of answered some different kind of questions. And he did actually talk about Mason Crosby. So I sort of want to go over exactly what he had to say there. So this is an excerpt from an article for Matt Schneidman of The Athletic. He starts off by saying, despite kicker Mason Crosby's approximately $4.7 million cap number and the approximately $2.4 million the Packers would free up by cutting him, Gutekunst didn't sound ready to move on just yet from the player who hasn't missed a game for the Packers since they drafted him in 2007. Among kickers who attempted at least 1 field goal per game played last season, Crosby missed an NFL high 9. Then he had another one blocked in the playoffs, but Gutekunst didn't heap the blame directly on the veteran. So this is Gutekunst speaking. He says, obviously Mason had to adjust to a lot of the things that happen with our special teams unit and the snappers and new punter and the whole thing, Gutekunst said. Obviously, with those moving parts, he had to adjust to them, and I thought he did a really nice job toward the end of the year. For where our football team is, having a championship kind of kicker, a guy who can compete at that level, is important. So again, there will always be competition, and everybody's got to hold their own. So I think when we look at Mason Crosby and just how long he has spent in Green Bay, I would honestly be sad to see the day he does, end up whether retiring or leaving Green Bay. But it does seem that Gutekunst still has hope in him, and to have a guy who just has that experience in Mason Crosby, I think definitely is. It is nice to have a veteran like that when you get to the playoffs. Obviously, things didn't really go well for the Packers on special teams in that last playoff game that they did play in, but I don't necessarily think that was completely Mason Crosby's fault. Clearly, some of the blocking there on that field goal unit was struggling at times, and so it seems like Gutekunst is still going to keep Mason Crosby for now. Maybe he won't, but that's sort of what it seems like from the way he was speaking. But he did mention, there's always going to be competition for every position, and so with the Packers, bringing in Dominique Eberle, the new kicker, who used to be on a couple different teams, and then also J.J. Molson, who's already on the roster. There is some competition there for Crosby, but it sort of seems like maybe he'll be staying put at this time. And, when we look at potentially releasing some players, Brian Gutekunst did say the other day he doesn't expect to have to release many players. He really seemed like, maybe he'd have to release a couple, maybe not though. So Mason Crosby could be here in 2022 as well. But that's all I got right now. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.